like, oh god, are they cheating and changing their picks and bans? So we're just going to catch back up to where we were before.
So easy. Who needs Echo's Time Warp when we had the UWAnime Daedric Zeus casting Time Warp?
Unfortunately, we don't have the chrono break, so let's hope that there's no game-breaking bug in the middle of the game, because we don't have access to anything like the chrono break that they have over at Riot Games.
So good as we see the team slowly just picking up what they have picked. So given these team compositions right here, what are the win conditions here for Minecraft Dabbers out on the left side?
Minecraft Dabbers very much need to rely on their 2-item power spike. So Mordekaiser spikes very heavily when he gets his first 2 items, which is his Leandri's Torment and his Rylai's Crystal Scepter. Seeing that Leandri's Torment, health, damage, percentage increase in damage as he is in combat, and then he also has that max health burn. That max health burn is nearly doubled when the enemy is crowd controlled. Was Rek'Sai picked previously?
No, he wasn't. I don't actually recall, but it might have been what the Xin Zhao pick wants to be.
Maybe it was. So with the thing that Mordekaiser needs to do is needs to get those 2 items. Then when he has his W on and his passive activated, he will then shred through people's health.
I'll beat it out of you.
It seems very much with the Nocturne side, the problem becomes that Maokai wants to set up Nocturne to get ahead. The second that Mordekaiser hits 6, it's very, very hard for Nocturne to actually gank. So it will become quite hard for Nocturne to snowball off the lane that he's trying to prep to snowball, because Mordekaiser can just press R on Nocturne or R on Maokai, and it just goes from a 2v1 to a 1v1.
And it looks like we finally see the ADC picks for the Minecraft Dabbers with the Jhin against the Tristana in the bottom lane.
Which also goes with the 2 to 3 item power spike, with Jhin getting the Storm Razor and the Infinity Edge bumps his damage up quite heavily, especially that 4th shot. And the Vel'Koz.
Final pick is coming through, 20 seconds left. Remilia the Twin using his big brain.
It'd be interesting to see if the Lux is the mid lane pick or if it is the support pick that was picked early, actually. So, it'd be interesting to see which one comes.
He's waiting, he might be waiting all the way down to the 0 seconds. Let's hope he picks on time. This is a Thresh support.
It's a Thresh support, I like it, I like it. So they'll have their choose their loadout, it'll count down, and then we'll have about a 3-minute session until we can go view. So just to make sure that people aren't loading up the stream on someone else on their computer and then stream sniping, we're just going to keep it at that 3-minute break on this. So we'll just chat about the draft and talk about the lanes and whatnot and go from there.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of PTSD here from a Lux. I know ADCs really hate fed Luxes, so this mid lane Lux pick is going to cause havoc for this Jhin, but he does have the Morgana. Hopefully he can save his ass.
Yeah, and then also Jhin will find it very hard to deal with things like the Lux and the Tristana until he gets to 3 items, because he needs that rapid fire cannon to be able to keep them at a range. But he doesn't want to build a rapid fire cannon second, because then it will stunt his damage. So he really wants to get his Storm Razor, his Infinity Edge, and then he wants to wait. So you should see at the top there, it should just say spectator delay, or it may even drag us in and we'll have to pause. No, there we go, cool.
No,
Spectator delay. Sweet. So
I do like this Tristana pick against the 2 tanks. Running press the attack potentially on Tristana. We don't know what runes they're running yet, but it does allow her to get that true damage onto the tanks in the mid game.
Yep. And it won't stunt her build path to build things like percentage shred late, and then a Mortal Reminder will also be very strong she'll probably get trapped in with Mordekaiser quite a bit, and it'll really help against Jhin, because Jhin will most likely have Fleet Footwork, he'll have Legend Bloodline, he'll eventually get Lifesteal very late into the game, and then when he starts critting really large numbers and getting that Lifesteal on top, he really starts to hurt.
Yep. And just to note for our viewers, we also aren't playing on some beta patch, we are playing on live, so the Tristana buffs have not gone through, so she does not deal 50% more bonus AD damage. That would be a bit of a buff.
Oh, okay. What are they changing that to her E?
So yeah, her E essentially has 50% more bonus AD damage, so that's going to be a huge boon for both Tristana ADC and Tristana
And
mid
Tristana
lane.
mid, that's the problem. That's the problem I'm concerned about. So the reason, as a little bit of background, the reason why Tristana mid got so popular was pardon me, it was because it was at the time where Azir, Gorky, Lux, those quite immobile mages that want to farm up and have abilities to keep people at range, that they were starting to become meta in mid lane. So the answer to it, seeing that they could stand back, they could have long range, and Lucian wasn't doing it because of his more short range. He was starting to pick Tristana because she could drop a bomb on them, auto attack them 3-4 times, jump on them, and then when the bomb pops, it resets the cooldown of a jump and she can jump out. And if the mage misses any of their abilities, they immediately either lose the trade or just die.
That's it. And that is also why they nerfed a lot of the AD carries. We're seeing a lot of picks like MF, not the traditional things like Xayah. Xayah is getting a slight buff next patch with that 5% more damage hitting by multiple feathers. So Riot is hoping to change it back to the crit meta. Might be a bit too early. It isn't Worlds yet, Riot, but we'll see how they go with the constant ADC balancing. I know my rank is going to stay low unless they start buffing things like Severe again, but we'll see how that...
Yeah, it's always been a very difficult thing to try to balance out crit AD carries and then trying to diversify out the bot lane meta. Because even then, when you have crit meta, other crit AD carries like Jhin can also fall off because they just get outscaled and outlaned by other crit AD carries. So then the meta becomes Xayah, Siva, Caitlyn, that sort of stuff. So it becomes very hard to balance that sort of thing. All I can say is I'm very happy that it's not the Ardent Sensor meta of 2017, because thank goodness that is well gone. Now I believe we'll be getting into game just here. I'll just double check that the overlay, yep, the overlay is correct. Let's just...
We are jumping into the loading screen. Let's hope no one crashes, because that would be really bad.
It would be very awkward. So we'll take a moment for it to pop up on the screen as the viewers. Normally it kicks into seeing what's happening kind of after you load into game. So just, oh no, it's working now, cool.
So let's look at this skin. We all know that Riot is pay to win, and these guys will probably get some kind of secret hidden AD and AP bonus. We have a 5-fighter Tristana, legendary skin, 1,820 RP for the ADC. Countered though by the Dark Cosmic Jhin, another legendary skin. Thresh with the no skin. I think the bot lane, from the pay to win perspective, has got it out for them.
Yes, it's very interesting actually. I see Jin's rune choices, which is actually the Dark Harvest instead of the Fleet Footwork. So he's actually looking to abuse the shorter range Tristana at the early levels, because Tristana gains range through the game when she levels. So Dark Harvest is very much around trying to keep your opponent low, building quite heavy AD early, and then using the bounces of your Q to really chunk the enemy. And then eventually when you have Dark Harvest on top of that, it becomes very hard for the enemy to walk up.
And we do see Thresh here. He is picking up the Exhaust instead of the Ignite, carrying the Morgana. We'll see how that goes. Who do you think his priority targets are, Daedric?
Mordekaiser, 100%. He wants to, especially if he gets a good jump onto Tristana and kills her before she can get a QSS. Coming out of it, he becomes very, very strong. Now, let's just make sure that we definitely do start at the same time. I'm going to pause it 5 seconds, because it's just staying at 0 for the moment, as it's...
Yeah, it's just staying at 0 for me as well.
That's all good. So let me just open that up.
Hopefully we don't just see a black screen all game.
Yeah, that would be not very handy. I believe maybe it's because the... Oh, here we go. So
it just started? I think we both started at once. Should be all good.
Okay, sure.
Yep.
6, 7, 8,
Yep.
9. Cool, sweet.
We're good.
Let's get rid of the time controls. And we are off. Now,
as you see here, Mordekaiser with the Doran shield by... Okay.
Yes, because he's... Actually, I honestly am not sure with the Doran shield buy. The problem is that he does want to be aggressive in lane, but the itemization to go aggressive, it's quite hard to take something else other than Doran shield, because other ones kind of, you lose the stats. You're not auto-attacking a whole crap ton, so Doran's blade isn't that amazing, but you don't have any mana thing, so all the mana stuff becomes very irrelevant. Red side here looking for a possible invade, just trying to scout. Makes sense with the Thresh. I recommend that they would actually brute force up and try to place a ward onto the red, seeing that Rek'Sai is a very early game pick and wants to pressure. As we see some trash talk happening in chat already, I like it. Thresh has walked up and left a ward there. I still think we should have tried to get over the wall if he possibly could, but seeing he didn't have his team backing him up and Morgana was somewhere around, it is quite dangerous to do that.
It is nothing doing here though, as both junglers are just preparing to take both of their bottom side buffs. As we start into the game, the Lux versus the Vel'Koz Miz, lane's pushing in.
So yeah, both junglers starting, fairly standard route. Rek'Sai will most likely move from his red into his... actually, he's looking to do his entire red side clear, so he may be looking to impact bot on mid early. So bot and bots will be meeting together at the same time. Mid lane, we've got some Vel'Koz dishing out some poke into Lux. And Mordekaiser's already started to take over this lane with his stepping up and trying to zone with his Qs. But I think one of the more interesting early game lanes will most likely be this bot lane here, with Barret the South already flicking out his mastery.
Certainly, we do see Morgana missing the Dark Binding there, but nothing doing level 1. Both ADCs trying to push for that level 2 with the Jhin with the Solar Lady here, but Tristana does auto push with her E passive.
Yep, so Tristana will auto push, but then Jhin with his Q will most likely try to auto push back. As Tristana, it becomes quite difficult for Tristana to walk up, because he can just bounce like that, and that's easy poke.
Here in the mid lane, Lux getting chunked by the Vel'Koz, checked down to 25%, gets hit by the Vel'Koz Q and E.
But does get a decent amount of return damage with her CC,
and also with Tristana jumping into the bot side, almost gets the kill onto Morgana as the Dark Binding hits. Thresh does keep her at bay, misses the Dark Binding as we have nothing doing, but a lot of action going on, both mid and bot, chunked down.
Certainly seems to be an exciting lane, so let me just quickly swap Mordekaiser and Vel'Koz on the scoreboard there. And now I just got to
see here, Mordekaiser does take a 10 CS lead above this Maokai. We can see this grows exponentially because if Mordekaiser does get more and more ahead, this might become a problem for this team out on the red side.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult for Maokai to try to push back a lead, and it's also very difficult for him to see.
Here we have a Q straight onto the Jhin, gets hit. Tristana ease in, gets the easy pickup kill. First blood here for the Titanic.
Oh, that's very good for Tristana. The Dark Harvest on Jhin is very much an early game power spike. Oh, as we see up on top side.
Here we have Flash easy by Mordekaiser getting out of that. Nocturne going back to lick his wounds.
And in mid, we've got Rek'Sai.
Double gangs top and mid as he flash knock up onto the Lux, gets hit by Vel'Koz knock up as well. Easy kill, 300 straight towards the jungler.
Looks like we're going straight for Fiesta, and Nocturne and Mordekaiser just had a tussle up top, but it looks like my game froze a little bit. I'm on 402, is that 3, 4, 5 are on the same time roundabout?
I'm 2 seconds ahead.
Okay.
I will pause for 2 seconds. Alright, 11, 12.
Yep, cool.
Cool. Too easy. We see Tristana after getting that kill backing with the Thresh. The wave is frozen in a weird state, but it will bounce back. As we see in the top lane, Maokai does break through that CS differential, only 3 behind now. And we see that gank by the Nocturne helping to alleviate some of that pressure.
But a lot of that minion catch up is Mordekaiser's not catching up with these minions here. So if he gets most of these, he'll still have around about a 10 CS lead. We've got Rek'Sai actually invading into the jungle of the blue side.
Does get it pretty easy. No plant. Can Nocturne catch him? Gets knocked up. Does pull down the E with the fear. Spell shields, nothing doing. Tristana W is in. This might be an easy pickup for Patico here. Might be able to get it. Easy. That's 80 damage, not AP damage. As they Thresh plays the wrong way, but Tristana W is in. Gets the hook onto the Morgana. Easy pickup there. As Tristana with the 2 kills and the cull as well with the buying. Wants that 100 CS gold bank.
And he is going to be a very difficult force to be reckoned with. And so I understood what Rek'Sai was trying to do. He was trying to deny as much as he could to this Nocturne, so he could just get 6 as late as possible. But he didn't have any bot pressure. The bot lane was pretty even. And also his mid lane was pushed in. So he wasn't able to protect himself if it was collapsed back in on him. So it's very bad now that Tristana's getting back ahead now in the mid lane. Just a little bit of trading.
Yeah, we see here in the mid lane, just small poke. We have, Vel'Koz poke versus Lux poke. It'll be interesting what dragon we get this game. We know it's not going to be mountain, so we get something for the poke, like Cloud or something. Might be quite good.
Cloud will be pretty interesting. I think Cloud will probably be best onto red side here. Oh, as we see a missed gank opportunity, but that's right. I think from what I saw with Rek'Sai, if I just double check, he does have Nimbus Cloak. I feel like if he blue smited Lux and Nimbus Cloaked, he could have actually got that knock up there, but ooh.
I see Vel'Koz as the Lux almost gets it, surviving on 42 HP. Lux with the counter are both mid laners chunked out, almost dead here. Clown Fiesta in mid continues.
Oh, and Mordekaiser has nearly killed Maokai in top lane, but Maokai just sustaining it through it all. Mordekaiser's just backing now, enjoying his CS lead, going back to buy his item advantage, so he can work on that.
Both laners do have TP up in the top lane. Be interesting when they want to use it, as that first dragon is quite crucial, and Rek'Sai can slow that quite early on.
So Mordekaiser did actually use his TP to go back up there quite quickly, which I felt was actually kind of unnecessary, seeing the wave was slowly pushing back into him. If he walked back up there, he would have still had the majority of that wave still crashing into him, and then he could have held a teleport advantage, or at least a teleport match for the dragon. Now that they have a teleport advantage on the red side for dragon, it becomes quite hard. Unless if he uses it right now, it becomes quite hard for them to
really deep ward by Tristana in the bot side. They might get caught here by this binding. Thresh does get caught, gets to the Jin W as well as the Tristana going ham with the ult. Takes the Thresh land and jumps into the side, gets the Rek'Sai. Morgana gets the reset, flashes over the Dragon Pit as Jin comes in to try to save the day. Thresh gets out, Nocturne gets out. They get the one easy kill with the resets, causing pain for this blue side.
Now it's an absolute fiesta going on right here, but the person that's benefiting the most from it is this Tristana. The more and more gold that she gets on, the less and less of the low amount that she has where she's not as strong, the faster she can get to items and the faster she becomes an absolute menace, where the rest of Blue's team, until she Mordekaiser can probably 1v1 her if he gets more ahead, but when she gets a QSS, then he can just do absolutely nothing.
I'll be interested to see what Rek'Sai's pathing is right here, because as all ADCs know, it doesn't matter if you're 10-0. If this Mordekaiser gets fed and he R's you, he can 1v1 you any state of the game.
Yeah. Let me just quickly double check something. We've been in constant action. Okay, sweet. Let me just jump our cameras on. I had them off for the loading, but now I've popped us back on.
That is too easy. Hello stream. Hope you've enjoyed this Clown Fiesta so far. As we have the red side with the 2k advantage, but in the mid lane, Rek'Sai 1v1ing the Lux, gets the chomp, does ult to get in range as Nocturne tries to R to stop, but he does get the fear. Can he get the trade kill? Yes, he does. Easy Q, easy E.
Oh, it's a heavy kill game, this game. Nocturne picking up a kill is quite nice for him. He does certainly enjoy trying to get into those lethality items. Second, he can finish a complete lethality item, he changes from a half-decent champion into a champion and a half when it comes to the other game, because it really exploits people's lack of armor in the early game.
I do have a comment coming from the stream. It seems one of the overlays for the cameras is broken. We'll get that fixed shortly.
Give me 1 second. Sorry, I had to check something, and now I should have fixed it right there.
That is all good. Thank you once again, Twitch chat. You're not only good for memes, you're good for saving the day in terms of the stream aesthetics. As you see here, this 2k gold differential, but both teams seemingly okay with just farming this Tristana, getting more and more ahead with the 300 gold bounty, and the Nocturne as well, playing with that jungle ADC combo, getting the gold. As we see here in the top lane, the Mordekaiser and the Maokai fighting, but nothing doing. Two tanks pummeling at each other. We could be waiting 10 years for the finale of this bout.
Yes, especially now that Mordekaiser still has not got, he's pretty far away from getting his first full item, which is when he can start to properly shred Maokai. And Maokai's got the Spectral Veil, Spectral Cowl, sorry. So he's got health, he's got magic resist, and he can start really resisting.
Rek'Sai is playing around that top lane. He does want to get this Mordekaiser fed going for the Krugs. We'll see if they want to dive here as the Nocturne here helping Lux push out the mid lane, but going up to support his top lane as they go for this Rift Herald. This might be a contest. Nothing doing as he places the ward down.
Which is fair enough. He doesn't have the top lane priority. His mid laner still needs to get more pressure. It's more even there. However, I don't know if they've kept track of it, but they still have the teleport advantage. As you see them taking away the red buff.
On the red buff by the blue side, as Nocturne can't do anything but watch crying as they take over that. Maokai can't do anything. He's got a 30 CS deficit. What can he do to come back here?
Basically pray that team fights go better for them. As we see actually a bit of a trade in the bot lane.
Bot lane gets hit by the Dark Binding and the Jin W. Can this be a quick shutdown on Tristana? It does flash, but auto attacks Thresh instead of the Tristana. He does get the
Curtains.
last curtain call ult here as the Tristana hits stuck behind and gets the Tristana with the third one. As you see, TP is coming down on the red side, trying to pick up back to onto the Tristana. That was a beautiful 300 gold shutdown for that Jhin, clawing his way back. Tristana going in too deep in this bot lane.
And during all of that, a fight in the mid lane, Nocturne coming in and killing Lux, and then Rek'Sai killing both Lux and Nocturne because of the fact that they were both low from tower dive. So it's...
And once again, 300 gold bounty over to that team. This might be their chance at clawing back.
Yeah, it definitely is. And, you know, if they keep getting pressure into their, like, especially with Rek'Sai can exert that pressure. It's very much around how he can push that onto the rest of his team, though. The problem becomes if he hoards it and doesn't do a whole lot with it, Rek'Sai will fall off quite a bit down towards the late game. So he needs to convert that damage and lead into getting his top laner kills or his bot laner kills, and then that'll convert correctly. If he hoards it for himself and just starts hard farming, he won't do much in the late game.
That's it. As we see, Dragon is respawning in 45 seconds. It is going to be an Ocean Drake. We can see both teams trying to vie for some vision over here as they both set up. As Tristana goes in with the W onto the Morgana straight in, gets the reset almost, jumps in with the W. Can they get the kill? Thresh does get it with the play. So they can't do anything with 25 seconds of Cloud Drake coming up.
And it's very interesting, now that the Cloud Drake's coming up, it means that we're going to have the two most overpowered dragons as the Soul Dragons. As I don't believe Thresh is close enough to follow up, but that's...
Jhin is chunked as Nocturne spell shields the Vel'Koz, doesn't spell shield the knockup, has to flash over the wall. He is chunked, 30% HP, although he is healing and can get the plant and scuttle to heal as they go for this Cloud. We'll see. I think with the Tristana, they might be able to take it.
It'll still be a little bit of a contest, especially seeing that Jhin will have his ultimate up soon. If they do get low in the pit, Rek'Sai can spam Q, Vel'Koz can spam Q.
Here we have a Mordekaiser as the pings come in. Lux Q straight as the Mordekaiser gets 4 of them. And can he go in for the almost penta? Does get him. As we have a Vel'Koz, huge damage onto the Thresh. Wow, this is crazy for the blue side team, picking up all of these kills with the Jhin final curtain call and the Rek'Sai picking up the damage. I think this is an easy Drake for the blue side, with the red side overextending, losing their lead. It is back to gold parity right here. 21.5k both pieces. Maokai can't do anything but lick his wounds in mid.
And that's, you know, just unfortunate, seeing that they just had that teleport advantage, and that if Maokai was able to teleport in and use his ultimate on the entire enemy team, it also may have meant that it would have been a more even fight, but unfortunately it wasn't able to. If we look over at the gold score, Mordekaiser is actually over a K.5 over Maokai's gold score, so it means he can start getting that damage and he can start shredding Maokai's tank stats before he even buys them. Tristana still has over a K lead over the Jhin, but you know, if Jhin can continue to work with these team fights, he can eventually claw this lead back.
Yeah, definitely in this meta, right? It doesn't really matter if your ADC is far ahead, as long as you can stay in the game as this Jhin has done with his W's, beautiful roots in that team fight to prevent the movement of the enemy team, and easy cleanup by the Mordekaiser and the Rek'Sai. And Tristana, he just can't do anything against his Mordekaiser and Rek'Sai. He might have to build something against that.
See Rek'Sai looking for something mid, whether it be countering a gank or trying to set up a gank. I believe the best option is countering a gank, because Vel'Koz wants to push out this wave and maybe back, or maybe try to roam. So he's just providing protection from the possible Nocturne art.
See Tristana maybe looking for something over in the bot lane, but looks like it just wants to farm, as both junglers in the mid lane here simply just farming turrets. We've hit a bit of a lull here as both teams are okay with going back to lane and simply farming CS.
Yeah. Even though we had a very hectic early game, it's kind of weird to call something a lull state when we have well over a kill a minute. But yeah, it just seems that each team is pretty content with farming out waves and ping-ponging. I can understand Mordekai's doing it. I'm going to channel a little bit of my inner LS here. When you have a rundown comp like Tristana and Thresh, you can force Morgana and Jhin to walk up to you, which does allow you to get a lot of damage onto them and have that possibility of you running them down with Nocturne. But I fully understand why people like Mordekaiser are shoving in, because it's hard for Maokai to farm in the turrets. He keeps the pressure, he can move to do Rift Herald like what they're doing right now.
And that's an easy pickup for them, looking to get that first turret damage, because I don't think the Dragons might actually move here, as he does hit the E, moves on with the Indomitable Spirit, does get the tank, gets the shield, and he can't do anything except press R, doesn't even snare him on the turret. But Nocturne is moving to support, but can they actually stop this Herald push? I don't think so.
No, I believe they just have to give this turret. Their pressure has been matched by the fact that I'm not sure if it was a good trade or if they just eventually got pushed out of lane, but it looks like bot lane have the lane to themselves down in bot. So because of the damage that Tristana can output, she should be able to easily clear this turret. Now it looks like the
Maokai might be overstaying his welcome here if he does land the E, but doesn't. Shelly does get that second hit onto that secondary. That's a lot of damage, and this Mordekaiser might be free farming to the Nexus.
And he's certainly
Trade turret
with those
come
E's.
down to Tristana in the bot lane though. See here.
He timed, Jin just timed his W wrong. He was waiting for the bounce of his Q to hit Tristana, and he hit the W before the Q bounce hit Tristana. But as you can see from him just building an Infinity Edge early instead of the normally rapid fire cannon into, sorry not rapid fire cannon, Storm Razor when you have fleet footwork, he does a whole lot of damage with those Qs. Those Qs really, really can hurt.
See here in the mid lane, Lux has picked up that blue buff, so that poke is coming through with the poor Vel'Koz no blue buff, trying to do his best, but Lux just free casting spells here, clearing the wave with ease.
And yeah, as you said before, it kind of does look like it's into this low state of people being pretty happy with farming, which it does suit blue side a lot better, in my opinion. I feel that Nocturne, when he has his ultimate up, especially seeing he has a bit of a lead, he should really be trying to force the agenda. If they let the bot lane push in, Nocturne could come in with his ultimate, force pressure there, but it looks like he could possibly be in trouble.
It does get the Dark Binding and the Jin W and the knock up onto the Nocturne. That's an easy pickup for the blue side. They just keep on getting these picks. I don't know what's going on.
And up in top, we've got a possible fight down bot lane. Now, does
Tristana Wing can't actually hit it, but Thresh does get the death sentence hit, flays him backwards. Does other Tristana, can he go on?
Oh.
Indomitable Spirit, can he get the shoot up? No, Tristana
doesn't
get their shut down.
Very, very close though. I feel like if he used that a lot earlier in the fight, he could have probably killed him there. And,
we see here blue side picking up the trade, epic Minecraft dabbers, killing this turret as they would in the game of Minecraft. Easy pick up on that T2 secondaries.
Yep, and as you can see, with actually, I'm going to chat about first of all with the Mordekai's itemization, with the fact that he's gone Riley's Scepter first, and then he's going Leandri's Torment second. In my opinion, with Mordekaiser, Leandri's Torment is not a good item until you have Leandri's Torment. So Leandri's Torment, when completed, gives you and your abilities basically a burn of max health over time.
As we see here really quickly, Maokai is stepping over too far, does ult try get away, W's in, nothing doing.
There's no flash. I don't think you're able to get out.
It does flash to secure that kill, and they can't get any vision. Maokai overstepping his bounds too far, and they're easy Infernal pickup. We can see what Dragon this is. Lux almost Miracle Steal.
Very, very close. Yeah, so with going back to the Mordekaiser point before, the reason why you take Riley's Crystal Scepter is so that your passive will continuously, that area of effect damage, will continuously slow the enemy. So you have and your passive does maximum health percentage damage. So if you have that maximum health percentage damage, and then the Leandri's Torment percentage damage, them being nearly doubled on top of itself because you have the consistent slows. You do a lot more damage if you get the Leandri's Torment first. You have that burn, you'll be able to fight Mordekai's, you'll be able to fight Maokai, and you'll also be able to fight Squishies as well, and then you back it up with that Riley's Crystal Scepter when you get ahead from all the damage that you'll be doing, because you'll most likely be able to 1v1 almost anyone with just that one item power spike.
That's it, and that's why they're so strong nowadays. You know, you got the carry top laners. Back in Season 2, you were playing things like tanks couldn't deal any damage, but now, Riot Games, we've seen the mid lane, the damage coming through, nothing doing as he has to R away the Rek'Sai, but that could have been a lot of damage chunks on the Tristana.
Yeah, I mean, while he did have R and he could try to force that really hard, the Thresh still was there, who also had exhaust ups. It would have been very hard to pull out that damage in time. Red side was looking to try to capitalize on Mordekaiser, but it's very hard to move into the fog of war with Mordekaiser, because if he ults one of you, at least one of you is going down, and you're trying to group on him to not make it a 1-for-1 trade. You're trying to make it a kill him, and then use the rest of that pressure to go elsewhere. If he takes out one of you, you lose a lot of that pressure.
See here, Tristana gunning for that turret range with the E. They should be able to take this with easy damage, but the Jhin is just free farming with the Morgana in the bot lane against this Thresh. They might be able to get this trade quite easily. As Nocturne looking for an R potentially onto this bot side lane. We can see what happens.
They'd almost be out of range now, seeing his range of his R at level 6 to level 10 is normally quite short. It normally jumps up in range once you get to level 11 and get that second skill point, your R. It's interesting though that he's gone a more defensive route of buying the Edge of Night first rather than the Dustblade, which would normally very much increase your damage, but Edge of Night, if someone has good return CC like the Rek'Sai knock-up, like the Vel'Koz E, it becomes very hard to actually get in if you don't have that sort of spell shield to keep you safe. So he's doubling up his spell shield to ensure that he can get that damage, so he's more working around team fights than he is working around trying to find Jhin alone and one-shot him, because Jhin always has that Morgana with him all the time.
That's it, and I don't think they can go for Pinks against this sort of team with Mordekaiser, Rek'Sai and all that. There's too much damage to get pumped out. We also have a Black Shield there by Morgana to stop any CC.
It was a very close encounter there with the Nocturne. He's quite lucky that they didn't turn the corner, but he may be in a little bit of trouble. Are they going to let him? He does go a spell shot, even if Morgana threw Q, yeah, he'd be fine. So they just let him go.
See Rek'Sai just saying hello to his old friend Maokai up in the top lane as an easy 30 gold there for clearing that ward.
Now the interesting part here is that now we have an Infernal Dragon, so I can definitely tell you that red team will benefit the most from an Infernal Dragon, mainly just because of Vel'Koz. Vel'Koz's damage with Infernal Dragon, if he gets that in his grasp, he will completely annihilate teams. While it's still very good on just both teams in general, Vel'Koz with Infernal is a very scary thing. Now there might be something happening down bot here.
I see here a small collapse, but not enough movement speed there for the people to collapse, as both teams really just trying to get vision. Tristana is going very deep, gets hit by the Jhin W, doesn't save him. Vel'Koz R comes in with damage, Rek'Sai does flash out, gets out. Morgana Q, Lux binding misses.
But he had the Maokai teleport, but a little bit late, and he didn't really get a good angle to press his ultimate.
Gets W to with the This power of Nocturne. Can they get the plan? Does get the stopwatch to save himself. As we see here, Mordekaiser does ult the Maokai, so nothing doing there. As the Lux trying to for some poke damage, but they can't do anything against this Mordekaiser and this Rek'Sai. They're just too tanky and they're just in their backline all the time.
Yeah, and that gold difference between the Maokai and the Mordekaiser really shows in that fight. You've very much got that Mordekaiser. He's nearly hit that 2-item power spike, so that's him before his ridiculous power spike, and he can just run down everyone and anyone that he's fighting with. And Rek'Sai's done the right thing of giving over more kills now. He was 4 kills before, now he's 5. So he's been giving over those kills to Vel'Koz, to Jhin, making sure that the gold is being spread out. So when he comes into the later stage of the game, as you can see with the 2 cloth armors, that he can start building more tanky and just be a setup frontliner rather than just trying to be full damage, and if he gets killed, the rest of his team is stuffed.
And we can see here, Epic Minecraft Dabbers does have an awkward back timing here. Scuttle is free for the Titanic to take. We can see if they take this, get easy vision over the dragon as it is coming up right now, Infernal, and they're not in a position to stop this.
Yeah, it just depends if they have enough damage out in time, and it seems like Titanic are actually paying respect because they weren't 100% sure. They didn't have vision on a lot of the reset, so they weren't sure where the enemy team was. I don't think they knew that a lot of them did that awkward back timing.
We see here, we might have another Clown Fiesta breakout as the Epic Minecraft Dabbers does look to fight for vision once again. Let's hope this Tristana doesn't overstay his welcome, get caught once again by the Jhin W, but we'll see.
It'll be very much a dance here. The red side does have the advantage of having the speed boost in the middle there, as you can see them just running around on that thing. They should really be trying to auto-attack the dragon and drag it up towards mid lane, seeing that the entirety of blue side is groping around bot side, but it seems like they're actually planning to push out mid lane and see if they can come back with a bit more pressure. However, seeing it's a normal dragon and not an elder dragon, blue side will still do it pretty quickly. Not the quickest though. Jhin is not a super fast AD carry at shredding things. She's not a Vayne or a Kai'Sa, so it'll be interesting to see how this dance plays out.
This dance is still continuing. Maybe a little of a slow ballad, not a tango that I'm used to seeing in NA solo queue. We see the Masteries come out with the DM, taunting the enemy, telling the Tristana, just W in, mate, just W in. As he does move forward, almost gets stunned, gets hit by the W of the Jhin. Dark Binding does save that Maokai. Nocturne does R in, doesn't get anyone, easy Lux, hits only 2 people. But the Vel'Koz with the huge damage coming down on the red side, but he can't do anything. Tristana in the backline does get the exhaust onto the Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai doesn't take any damage at all because of that exhaust as the cleanup crew comes in. What can Maokai do? Absolutely nothing. It was just the case of the ADC not being able to get through these tanks.
Yep, my goodness, the power of Vel'Koz there, and that's him before having anything like an Infernal Soul. He absolutely wiped the floor with that ultimate. Very, very well placed. And then Mordekaiser ultimate using his ultimate onto Lux to stop the counter of the AoE ability power of red side, so they couldn't be an answer to what Vel'Koz was doing.
It is only 26 minutes into the game, so I'm not sure if they can actually take this inhibitor, but the death time is really short. The red side almost coming in respawns, but they are going to go for it. We can see if they overstay their welcome here, as Nocturne is looking for something with the E onto the Mordekaiser. Does get the Tristana jump with the wrist straight into the Mordekaiser, but the Rek'Sai in the back end, huge amounts of damage, trying to get the zone in the bottom with the Maokai on the Morgana and the Vel'Koz as the Lux R comes through. And they did overstay their welcome.
They sure did, and now that's 2 huge shutdowns onto the Tristana, and now she is 3,000 gold in front of the opposition AD carry. And Tristana having a considerable gold lead really does matter. As you can tell by, I've popped it up right here, you can see that Mordekaiser has quite the high gold lead, and so does Rek'Sai, but if Tristana's allowed to free hit and Mordekaiser doesn't get a good R opportunity onto her, it doesn't matter how much team the rest of your gold's got, Tristana can just 1v5 your team.
See here, the Baron pickup, they are taking this down with so many kills because of that overstay, and this might be the case of blue side overextending, trying to get an inhib, and they might end up losing much more than that because of this Baron power play.
Yeah, definitely. It's it definitely would have been the better choice to move in, get aggressive vision into their jungle, steal away jungle camps to limit the amount of gold that red side can get, and then try to force them to come to you in the Baron fight and use the Vel'Koz, use the Jhin, use the Morgana when they're all clumped up there, instead of fighting them out in that more open space in the middle of their base.
We will say though, even after all that fighting and all that shutdown and all that Tristana gold, that the gold difference is still very, very close. Both teams still slated to take this, but this interesting fight around the Infernal Soul that's going to happen in 3 minutes might be what is the kicker in the coffin.
And yeah, this obviously red team cannot let blue team get the Infernal Soul at all. Minecrafters with an Infernal Soul will just wipe any and all team fights, even in the unfavorable spot like they had over in the open space. Vel'Koz having that area of effect constant damage will just annihilate the teams.
And we can see here Tristana is very worried about this Mordekaiser, picking up the Quicksilver Sash and also having the Guardian Angel. Tristana knows he cannot deal damage while dead, and he knows he is the true AD carry for this team.
Which is good in the sense of the itemization, having that Guardian Angel and the QSS to keep him safe. But then the other problem is that it's stunted his growth a little bit, because Guardian Angel, obviously QSS doesn't have any AD, and Guardian Angel doesn't give a whole lot of AD. It very much stunts how much he's going to spike, so it keeps him alive. But then the question is, does he have enough damage to back that up? Which I don't think he will have until he at least finishes his next Zeal item, which will probably be into a Phantom Dancer, which means it'll be very, very hard to 1v1 him.
That's right. As we see the Titanic slowly pushing with this Baron up in the top lane and the mid lane. Nocturne is randomly killing minions in the bot tower as Tristana tries to go in for the turrets. Does get the death sentence, but is countered by the Morgana stopwatch. Gets hit by the Lux R. That's easy burst damage. Very,
very well timed. Very well done by Titanic there. Layering the CC, timing everything correctly, and pressuring with this Tristana, because Tristana can absolutely melt towers. So, as long as
see here, the Mordekaiser does R the Maokai. Can he get this 1v1 as Jhin tries with the W, as they do push into the mid lane? This 2v1 does get the Maokai as we look back towards mid lane, as Tristana gets hit and chunked by Vel'Koz. Doesn't decide to go in though. This Baron is too strong. The minions and the GA on the Tristana means that he can't just kill him.
Yeah, and I think Maokai did very well to just keep extending out that fight further and further, and it's very hard, like, Rek'Sai could have almost pressed out there if Tristana didn't have that GA. But seeing that she had that GA, there was a complete... Rek'Sai just couldn't press out to get in on him. The champion just wouldn't be able to survive the rest of the 3, and wouldn't be able to wait out the time that Tristana would get up. And then probably the amount that Tristana of health that Tristana would have when she gets up, Rek'Sai wouldn't be able to finish it off without his R.
That's it, and we can see here red side just clearing vision towards the dragon, knowing that Inferno Soul is coming up in 30 seconds. Blue side immediately vying to take that, knowing that if they do get this Inferno Soul, this might be the kicker, this might be the damage that they need to take out this Tristana past the JAs. Rek'Sai looking.
They actually are missing this little bit of vision at the top of the dragon pit. They have not sweeped it out yet. Mordekaiser's pressed his and they've had aggressive vision, but they still have a bit of vision on this, which will allow Lux, will have her ultimate up soon, to very much pressure this.
That's right, and no pink boards for the blue side as the teleport comes in for the Maokai. They need to stop this as the Vel'Koz easy pick up on Tristana as he W's in, immediately gets killed. Lux tries with the Miracle can't get through. Blue side does easily pick up the Rek'Sai, but the Maokai coming in onto the back line does prevent the 280 carries, but the two tanks out in the back. Lux can't do anything. Mordekaiser easy W, Indomitable Spirit means he takes no damage as the Rek'Sai pushing on the Lux. Can he get anything? Nothing doing, can't watch anything.
Maokai's
but we
still alive,
Maokai.
he's now only just dying. And to be very honest, with that pickup, it's almost, I would almost say it's GG there. The gold lead onto that Rek'Sai and onto that Mordekaiser just means that having that Infernal Dragon means they do so much damage to team fights. A single Mountain Dragon will not help the Titanic at all. As you can see, some of the trash talk going on in the old chat there.
They are getting dabbed on. Epic Minecraft dab as they're pushing in with the two tanks protecting their 180 carry, but they aren't going to end it just of yet, respecting the death timers here, wanting to close this out with finality.
Yep, so their move here should be, I think that's what Mordekai's trying to do, is to try to limit, oh no he's not, but what they should be doing is she should be rotating out through the enemy's jungle and taking as much gold as possible from the enemy, as you can see Rek'Sai doing up there. Just taking away gold, taking away camps, so it just means that it limits the amount that Nocturne can normally take, because normally laners will want the lane minions. So if you limit the amount of things that Nocturne can farm, it means that he can't ever get to a spot where he'll have enough damage to be able to kill any one of your characters.
That's it, and as we see the supers auto pushing in onto the mid lane, we do have Baron spawning in 1 minute's time. They might be going for that, potentially getting a pick. As we've seen in the past, these Jhin Ws have been really great, picking the Tristana, I can't do anything, and then Lux just looking and zoned by the Mordekaiser.
Yeah, it's very hard currently for the Titanic to step up. Tristana now at around about level 14, her range will get quite large, especially with the rapid fire cannon on top. She can keep a lot of them at range and can really burst people down, so it's quite hard to push into her when she's not getting pushed onto like that. But
we see here Rek'Sai does get a Dark Binding by the Morgana. They can easily pick up, but the Nocturne does R in, does try to get Fear. Tristana in the background, no one's attacking him, but he does use the QSS, does get killed by the J. Thresh Destins can't even save him. Flashes that.
Oh, what a flash.
But does get the Q. Can Mordekaiser 1v3? I think he can, he's just too strong. The Leandre's with the Rylai sticking. See the exhaust sticking through.
And Jhin killed Nocturne in the back there as well.
And this might be it, but they seem to be just clearing the bot side jungle. Looking to farm up and just extending that gold lead up to 3k now.
It is kind of hard to judge whether they could push him in or not, just because of Lux and her ultimate and how she can just melt waves. It is quite hard, so it's a smart idea to try to get pressure onto all of the lanes, try to get them down to their inhibitors, because if you can destroy each of their inhibitors, obviously you get triple inhibitors, and then double supers will spawn in every single wave. And teams without an absolute crapload of wave clear with like a Spear or something just cannot handle that sort of minion pressure.
And we do see their easy bot lane pick up as they do reset, get those buys, get those items, full item builds, 150 gold bounty on them, 350 on Rek'Sai, and 500 on the Jhin. Man, he has come back. This Tristana was smurfing on this guy, but this Jhin had the final laugh.
Yep, and it just, because a lot of these fights have been happening, as you've actually been seeing, Jin's kind of been sneakily farming off to the side when he hasn't been in the middle of them, so he's been making sure that he picks up enough gold and picks up enough farm to try to get himself back into the game. And as you can see by the gold differences, things are starting to slowly equalize except for top lane and jungle. Those are the main ones that are very much in in blue side's favor for the Minecraft dabbers.
You can see here, slowly just going along the river, trying to fight for the vision, looking for the Baron picks, looking for the Elder Drake picks up in 2 minutes as they're sweeping the topside jungle. Red team having to hold hands in the mid lane, afraid of one of them being picked.
Yeah, it is a very, very tough situation to be in with the red side. And also when Elder Dragon spawns, it's very hard to decide which one you want to go contest, because Elder Dragon...
the Vel'Koz easy pick up with the Q onto the Tristana, into the ult, huge damage on the Thresh. Jhin just in the back, R-ing slow amount of damage, but Vel'Koz does almost get picked up by the Lux, does hit it. Maokai can't do anything as the Lux Binding misses the Rek'Sai straight into the back line, but the Nocturne tries to peel with the stopwatch, stopping the Lux kill, but the Mordekaiser with the double, is that a triple? It's an ace! by the epic Minecraft dabbers completely dabbing on them.
That is a big boy. That is a big Mordekaiser spamming out his mastery there. And so they're pushing into the base, and that will just be the end of the game. There's nothing that...
We have a surrender right there by the Titanic. Unfortunately, couldn't pick up that first win. As we move into the post-game screen, let's see and let's have a breakdown of what happened in that game.
Sweet. So let me just jump over to the post-game here. Cool. So, most important thing to go to first, the damage numbers. As you can see, Vel'Koz and Mordekaiser, absolutely huge with the amount of damage they were doing. They were fighting in corridors, Vel'Koz was able to get R's out continuously. Mordekaiser, whether it be 1v1ing or 1v4ing, was just doing so much damage. It was very, very fun to watch.
And that's it. We can see both the ADCs, with the same amount of small amount of damage. Zara trying with the burst gains, but the Jhin, it was just the sustained damage out in the backside, while his tanks were just dealing with that Liandry's burn right onto the tanks of the enemy team that just caused every team fight to fall over.
Another thing I'm quite interested in actually is the vision score of each team, because yes, as I thought, the Minecrafters support was very, very good with the vision control. There was a lot of times, apart from some sneaky wards here and there was a lot of times where the Titanic couldn't get that forward vision in.
And I think that's it as we move into the second round. Are the second teams prepared to play? I think we have about 9 more minutes until they are set up.
We do. We might just take a quick 5-minute break and then we'll come back to quickly chat about the teams and then move into the second game.